Welcome back to my channel. I'm your host, Kerry Bogle, and you are now tuned into No One Watches Regular News. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. So, the media is getting upset. They are frustrated with the fact that no one is allowed to ask Kamala Harris questions. They're getting frustrated. They're getting mad. How long can she keep this up? If she wins, if she becomes the first female president, how long can she do this? Where she just avoids questions from the media. Now, I was reading to where she's going to give her first interview or press conference after the DNC. But why wait? I think that people are going to be disappointed if they wait this long just to hear her speak and take questions, and it's not very long, it's very brief. People are going to be disappointed, upset that they have waited this long for her to speak to the press, do interviews, and you're only allowed to answer one or two questions. Ask one or two questions, and that's it. So this is our plan. They're going to do as much as they can to hide her, so that way Harris does not make a mistake. This is nothing new. If it's not on a screen, if she can't read it, she struggles. We have seen this before in 2019. We have seen this at her rallies where if it's not on the screen, if she can't read it, if it's off script, she struggles. So once again, her campaign, her staff keeps hiding her from the media, not allowing her to ask, to be asked questions. And the media is getting upset right now.
Would it kill you guys to have a press conference? Why isn't she had a press conference?
Listen, the vice president and Governor Walz have been busy crisscrossing this country since the launch of this campaign and adding Governor Walz to the ticket. You saw the ways in which they went across the battleground states last week, generating rallies of thousands, 10,000 here, 15,000 there.
But Michael, a campaign rally is not a press conference. Do you mind if I cut in? I mean, a campaign rally is not a press conference. Why hasn't she had a press conference? She's the vice president. She can handle the questions. Why not do it?
We absolutely are going to do it. You hear her take questions as she's out on the stump. And she said last week, we're going to be having a sit-down interview here before the end of the month. What she's going to be focused on and what this campaign is going to be focused on is communicating directly with the voters that are actually going to decide the pathway to 270 electoral votes. That's why she
commit to a press conference this week?
This past week. That's why we're doing a bus tour in Pennsylvania as we head into Chicago. And it's why we'll sit down for an interview before the end of the month.
Why hasn't she had a press conference?
So as you can see, man, they're getting frustrated. The whole I'm too busy, we have to be able to run this campaign. I'm not buying it. I just think that they're trying to hide something from us that we can't see. They just refuse to let us know what's really going on. If we remember back in 2019 and 20, it was a bunch of people within her staff that quit. And it was rumors and reports going around that Harris was just difficult to work with, just very difficult to work with. So is this the case now to where she's just being difficult? Or is this a plan? I think it's more to the story than her just being too busy because of the campaign. It doesn't take 10, 15 minutes to sit down, do an interview and just answer a few questions. It won't take long just to do a press conference where you just answer a few questions. I think that she's under pressure. They don't really know what to expect from her. With Trump, you know what to expect. But with Harris, everything has to be detailed, planned out, just so she doesn't mess up or screw up or say the wrong thing. That's what I think is going on right now for us Harris is that we have to be able, well, her camp, they have to be able to protect her from saying something stupid or looking
Why
bad.
hasn't she had a press conference?
Listen, the vice president and Governor Walz have been busy crisscrossing this country since the launch of this campaign and adding Governor Walz to the ticket. You saw the ways in which they went across the battleground states last week, generating rallies of thousands, 10,000 here, 15,000 there. But
Michael, you know, a campaign rally is not a press conference. Do you mind if I cut in? I mean, you know, a campaign rally is not a press conference. Why hasn't she had a press conference? She's the vice president. She can handle the question.
Yes, exactly. Or the vice president, so you should be able to answer questions, not run from the media. And notice when he asked that question, he laughed. That's very passive aggressive. It's a real easy way to just dismiss that question. Why is it that she's not doing any interviews? What's going on? Would it hurt her to do one interview? No. It's just 10 to 15 minutes of just questions. I've never seen this before to where you can be the vice president, right? Running for president, and you feel as if she does not have to do any interviews or press conference or answer to the public. This is a problem because she can't do this if she wins and become the first female first female president. It's a bad look because it looks like it's something that's going on inside the party that's internal that we don't know, and can't see. But this is real bad for her, man, because this just makes her look real bad. Next story that I'm getting to is the story about Jamal Trulove. You may have seen this story a few years ago about his wrongful conviction and what happened to him. But this is a true story of Jamal Trulove and what happened to him. This article says that last black man in a San Francisco actor says Harris laughed when she wrongly convicted him, it says. So in a recent YouTube interview on the channel Art of Dialogue, Trulove recounted the day he was convicted of first-degree murder, a charge for which he was later acquitted and awarded $13.1 million from San Francisco. He described seeing Harris, then the San Francisco district attorney, in the courtroom. It says, when they came with the verdict guilty, I turned around and I looked and saw Kamala Harris, said Trulove, who starred in the 2019 film The Last Black Man in San Francisco. We locked eyes this one time and she laughed. Trulove was sentenced to 50 years in prison, expressed his shock at Harris' reaction. It says she literally just kind of busted out laughing, he said. This is his story. And this is the woman that's running for president. Just heartless. Back in 2019 and 20, it was said that she's difficult to work with. And really, I believe it. If you're working behind the scenes to protect this woman like the media has, and they will keep trying to protect her as long as they can until they get tired of her, until they get tired of her avoiding questions like this question. Has it ever been a time whenever she was a district attorney, was there ever a time that she was involved in a wrongful conviction, which means that an innocent man was sent to prison for a crime that he did not commit? The answer is yes. This is documented stuff.
Yeah, we ended up losing. And after our loss, after I lost, got convicted. Well, the sentence came in. You know, obviously the courtroom is full. I know who this lady Kamala Harris is, right? People in the projects knew who she was because she was a black district attorney. And we thought that we had a black district attorney in office, right? And who we perceived to be black, right? That will have that's from Oakland. And that's all we kind of knew. And we would think that, that she would, be a little bit more favorable to us. Now, during my trial, I didn't even think of this lady, just in general. I just knew that she was the head DA. They never came and tried to talk to me or anything of the sort, right? It was strictly, you did this, we charging you, you're going down. So at my preliminary, on verdict day, I remember seeing her in the back when I walked in, and when they laid down announced that I was, convicted for first degree murder, which I already knew I was convicted because the jury asked a question to the bailiff, because they give like these questions to be clear to the judge or whatever it may be, and we get to know what the question is. They bring us down to what the question is. And the question was, what's the difference between first degree murder and second degree murder? So I already knew that they just decided if it's going to be first degree or second degree. So I already came in there with the energy of like, I'm convicted. Now, they already knew too. So that's why the courtroom was super packed. And you see Kamala Harris like literally like front row, opposite side on the defensive side. And, when they came with the verdict guilty, me, I wanted to make sure I seen every nigga that was in that motherfucker on that side, not supporting me, and everybody else that was on that side. Because I knew, for one, I didn't do it. I stood on principle, and, and I was going to fight to ultimately get back. And I'll never forget when I turned around and I looked and I seen Kamala Harris, we locked eyes this one time, and she laughed. She literally just like kind of bust out laughing, almost as in if she was pointing at him like, ha, 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 ha. That's how I felt. Though she didn't point, but that's how I felt when she was laughing at the verdict coming down. So, I took it in. It's like, all right, pause. And it was like, all right, whatever. So now the next thing that I need to figure out is how can I get a retrial before I get sentenced, right? I don't know. I'm learning all of this stuff. I'm learning the law. What is it that, it is? Nobody, out of everybody that was there, everybody knew I didn't do it, but Nick, in their mind, they thought of it as even if you came and testified to say that I didn't do it and not say that somebody else did it, that's still telling.
That's crazy, man. I hate to see these kinds of stories, right? And then you see somebody like Kamala Harris, and she's running for president. And I have nothing against her, but I hate the fact that people act as if they can look past certain things like this, certain stories like this, certain information like this. Look past it. All that matters is she has to beat Trump and win. But we overlook these stories. This was an injustice. This was not justice. Jamal Trulove got 50 years in prison for a crime that he didn't do. And Harris was there. Convicted 50 years in prison, but later on was acquitted and got 13.1 million from San Francisco. And this woman is running for president. The number one reason for wrongful convictions in the US right now is eyewitness misidentification. That is the number one reason for wrongful convictions. If you think about it, just think about the number of people that went to prison for a crime they didn't do, and They didn't do the DNA testing yet. Now they do it now. But in order for someone to convict you, they have to have proof that you did it, evidence, physical evidence that you did it. From 2003 to 2010, just think about how many innocent people may have went to prison as a result of Kamala Harris's work and what she did. This woman is running for president, and people act like this should be overlooked. It doesn't matter. We have to beat Trump. Let's just look past this information. It's not important. It is important. This is a man that went to prison for a crime that he didn't do as a result of her and what she did. They could have sought justice. They didn't. They just wanted the conviction. That's it. They got the conviction. Later on, it was acquitted. Now, this is on her resume. It's on her resume. People love to bring up what Trump did, his convictions. Look at her resume. Look at the wrongful convictions associated with Kamala Harris. Look at that. That's more shocking because she did this to innocent men. And then now people are begging for votes for her and Tim Walz like they deserve it. This woman, in my opinion, don't deserve it. Now, if you're doing this to innocent men, imagine what you're going to do as president to men. That's that's what I think about. Imagine what you're going to do once you get that kind of power as a president. What you're going to do? Because she was doing this as a attorney, putting away innocent men. No physical evidence. Just go off, whatever we got, let's just do it. The other story, you had a guy that went to prison. This was in the late 1980s, and this woman worked to keep information from being revealed in court that otherwise would have freed that man, Conley. They knew they had information that Conley did not commit the crime, that somebody else did, and then they did not reveal the information during trial. She withheld that information. Like Trulove, they knew that he didn't do it, but yet he was still was convicted of the crime. That's not justice. So I have an issue with the woman that brags about her resume, but when you really do the research on it and investigate it, it's shaky. You have wrongful convictions associated with your name when you was attorney, but somehow this should be overlooked. So that's just my thoughts on that. Harris's involvement with wrongful convictions. This is true. She has done this. It's no secret. If you don't know, if you didn't know before, now you know. It's some people that did know this. They just chose to ignore it. But then there's people that don't know about this. Well, now you know.